You came in like a thief, and you stole the crown. Your lies keep piling up, and we watch them weigh you down. The very agree that you stole, they run the whole fucking show. But we are not afraid, and we will not let go. The bigots rise, and you fan the flames. You build an empire of fear and pain. You're hand in hand with the billionaire scum, selling out this country while you play dumb. Burn it all down. Tear the walls apart. We will not bow. We will not lose heart. We will put an end to the hate. We will put an end to your lies. We will stand side by side, and we will rise. You think these cages are built for the poor and for the weak, for the families torn apart while you laugh and tweet? Look at the puppets dance to the corporate sound, but we are still here, and we will stand our ground! There is blood on your hands! We have seen the truth erased! You put the prophets first! Instead of the people you've displaced. History is watching, and it won't soon forget. It may not be you this time, but you could soon be next. Burn it all down, tear the walls apart. We will not bow, we will not lose heart. We will put an end to the hate. We will put an end to your lies. We will stand side by side, and we will rise! Rise! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Lies on the screen from the deadline machine! Burn it all down! They killed the American dream! Go blame an escalator, a tower built on decay. Smiling like a tyrant while the world fades away. Fear and hate is the name of your game. Divide the people and shift all the blame. The truth is dead, you sold them for fame. History won't forget your name. Fake empire, built on greed. Fascist clown, watch it bleed! Break the chains! Fight the fire! Dethrone the king! Take it higher! Broken to cases, you have got blood on your hands! Worship the dollar while you ignore our demands! We storm the gates! Our rage is fueled by your lies! We will sit back and watch as your empire crumbles and dies! Fear and hate is the name of your game! Divide the people and shift all the blame! The truth is dead, you sold it for fame! History won't forget! Nay, nay! Fake empire! Built on greed! Fascist clown! Watch it bleed! Break the chains! Fight the fire! Dethrone the king! Take it higher! You build walls! We break them down! You spread lies! We burn this town! You You breathe fear, we fight back. Hardcore, counterattack. Fake empire going down. No more kings, burn the crown. Justice call, hear the sound. Rise up now and stand your ground. All out. Promises right. Promises right. On a gilded stage, dividing the people, fueling the rage. Walls built high, but compassion's low. Truth buried deep beneath the show. No more lies, no more deceit. We will bow down, we will retreat. Voices loud, we stand as one. The fight's not over, it's just begun. It's just begun. Families torn at the borderline. Justice denied, time after time. Prophet's soul on the planet burns. When will we learn? When will we learn? No more lies, no more deceit. We will bow down, we will retreat. Voices loud, we stand as one. The fight's not over, it's just begun. It's just begun. It's just begun. Resist the power and break the chain. Rise above all this hate and this pain. Together we're strong, we won't divide. In our unity we will find our pride. The fight's not over, it's just begun. 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 The fight's not over. Whispers turn to battle cries. The truth is dead, been fed to lies. They sell us lies in the name of peace. What justice rots beneath the leash. They write the laws just to serve the few. We bleed beneath the red, white, and blue. But freedom's fire still burns inside, where truth and treason often collide. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't dismiss. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must feed on the patriots who dare to bleed. The tyrants tremble when freedom rings. We are the roots and we will bring the thunder rolling through the land. With fire in our hearts and blood on our hands. No peace without the will to fight, no dawn without a rebel night. The ballot's a joke and the court's offline, and American justice lags a decade behind. So strike the drum and light the flame. Each beating soul will rise again. The people's wrath is a sacred flood. The soil drinks deep the martyr's blood. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't dismiss. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must feed on the patriots who dare to bleed. The tyrants tremble when freedom rings. We are the roots and we will bring the thunder rolling through the land. With fire in our hearts and blood on our hands. Not for glory, not for gold, but for the stories that were never told. For every voice that they tried to drown, we will plant the flag and hold our ground. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't resist. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must grow with the blood that only the brave know. And if we should fall, then we fall as one beneath the rising vibrant sun. The tyrants will fall and the people will rise, because freedom never truly dies. They build their towers in the sky, hoarding wealth while the workers die. Billionaires with blood-stained hands, trampling lives to expand their brand. They say they earned it, they say it's fair, but they only take while we despair. Their pockets are fat and their hearts are cold. Working ourselves to death makes them more bold. But now the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see our lives and we know the deal. You hoard the wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you capitalist whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. The system is rigged, it's all just a game. The rich pull the strings, the poor take the blame. Wealth hoarders live in mansions, the people live in chains. The billionaires don't care, they cash in on our pay. Luxury is a cage that's been built on the backs of the common workers that they keep under attack. But we the people, we've had it rough. Their empire is fragile, we've had enough. And now the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see our lives, and we know the deal. You hoard the wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you only got whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. No more silence, no more living in fear, no more being divided, no more broken man's tears. Don't try to keep us down. You are not our king. In every city and every town, let motherfucking freedom ring. Because the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see your lies and we know the deal. You hoard your wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you capitalist whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. It's better to die standing on your feet than living a lie down on your knees. It's better to die standing on your feet than living a lie down on your knees. We signed up to fight for freedom, not to be the boots on the necks of Americans. You used us, you lied to us, and now we're coming to square the account. Get fucked and die mad about it! Admin Tip 360, bitch! We wear the scars, we bear the pain. We watched our friends die in blood and flame. You said that we fought for liberty, but we came home to fight hypocrisy. You turned a rifle around our peace. You crushed dissent, you unleashed police. You sent us in just to guard your throne. You turned the streets into a combat zone. No one wants alone. Not in this fight, we are alive. Whether it's day or night, no one wants alone. This ain't no game. There is only one true, we are the same. You armored up and sent the troops to beat down kids and protest groups to guard the banks, protect the suits so that they can't keep us under their boots. You wave the flag like it's a threat, but we remember every single bet that you left to run, alone and discarded, while CEOs got golden parachute parties. Anyone walks alone, not in this fight, we are the line. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one true, we are the same. To every citizen still asleep, wake the fuck up! To my fellow veterans, remember your oath! Our freedom is dying right beneath our eyes! The people in charge tell us nothing but lies. The common people starve while billionaires see, and we're the ones tossed out in the street. Let's save the rich, let's make them pay their share. Paying their taxes is a burden they can bear. Make billionaires right again! Not in this fight, we are the line. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one truth. We are the same. No one walks alone. Not in this fight, we are the line. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one truth. We are the same. No one walks alone. I got something for you. Hang on to your asses. Towers, velvet ropes, behind the mask, a vulture chokes, power suits and dirty hands, wag the dog in desert sands, victims screaming into voids while kings play gods with broken toys, airbrush lies on every screen. What the hell does justice mean? Lock room, VIP, predator in a crowd walking free, blood on the floor, hurt troop in chains. How many more gonna scream in vain? You built your throne on broken laws. Now you're scared, you know what you saw. Silence bought with piles of cash. Erase the files, burn the trash. Martial law for damage control. Draft the poor to hide your soul. Wanna light the world on fire just to dodge the light trip wire. History is a loaded gun. Tick, 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 you better run. Lock room, VIP, predator in a crowd walking free. Blood on the floor, hurt troop in chains. How many more gonna scream in vain? Your kingdom shakes with every name. You'll kill us all to dodge the blame. This ain't conspiracy, it's confession. Hidden in plain sight, full suppression. You laugh while the system bleeds, but the streets remember what you need. Truth, there's a cry. You just spare the time when the lights come by and your ass is mine. Locked room, VIP. No more secrets, no more gates. Dragged across your marble floor. Truth is kicking down your door. I said I'm young and believe the vow. Stars and stripes, I wear them now. Trained to fight and trained to lead. Wore the flag like it was all I need. I went to war, that was my goal. Buried brothers filling bullet holes. Did what I had to cause that was the cost. I came home proud but broken and lost. The other party used me and threw me away. Now I see through the games they play. They wrapped their lives in red, white, blue, but the blood on my hands was never for you. It was never for you. They said freedom, they said truth, but fed me hate since I was a youth. Republican dreams, conservative pride, just uniforms for the greed they hide. Where were they when the VA failed? When my friends came home and we all derailed? Where were they when we screamed in pain? Too busy chasing power and gain. All the party used me and threw me away. Now I see through the games they play. You breed support to wave your flags while you turn your backs on body bags. Don't turn your back on the fallen. You say that I betrayed you. I bled for this country. What did you ever do? You cheered for war. Then you ran from the wounded. I see who the traitors really are now! I gave my all, you gave me lies. Soldiers die while your empire thrives. Call me woke, call me lost. You never paid the fucking cost. And the party used me and threw me away. But I won't be silent one more day. I fight again, not for your pride, but for every soul you left behind. The party used me and threw me away. But I won't be silent one more day. Justice ain't red, justice ain't blue. It's the truth, and it's coming for you! Marching down the street with your MAGA flag, spitting serpent's lies while you're waving that rag, screaming freedom while you chain the weak. It makes me sick every time you speak. Beneath your cross, beyond your screen, you sold your soul for a fascist dream. Keyboard warrior that don't know pain, a cultist clown whose leader's insane. You are a king, not a constitution. You crave control, not a revolution. But you lick the boots, you're a rich man's pawn. You say you're free, but your freedom's gone. You're not with us, you're a fucking disease. You live in fear, spread life on your knees. Try to own the limbs, but you just don't regret. You fake your fate, now you choke on the dead. The party of law and order, but you storm the hill. You back the blue except when you're out to kill. You wave a gun in your neighbor's face. Fake ass patriot, you're a fucking disgrace. History watch while you took your stand. We saw what you did all across this land. American patriots don't kneel to a king. You're a fucking simp sucking that cinnamon ring. You are a king, not a constitution. You crave control, not a revolution. But but you lick the boots. You're a rich man's pawn. You say you're free, but your freedom's gone. You're not with us. You're a fucking disease. You live in fear. Spend life on your knees, trying to hold the limbs, but you just don't regret. You faked your fate, now you choke on the dead. You traded your hood for a MAGA hat. The mark of the beast, you believe in that? You don't believe the words that you shout. You chant just to drown out the doubt. You were born to lose and you still started this game. The fire is coming and we are the flame. We're gonna tear it down, bury it 6 foot deep, and we'll never forget that you're a sheep. You are a king, not a constitution. You claim control, not a revolution. But you lick the boots, you're a rich man's pawn. You say you're free, but your freedom's gone. You're not with us. You're a fucking disease. You live in fear. Spend life on your knees, trying to hold the limbs, but you just don't regret. You faked your fate, now you choke on the dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 26, 47. 1, 2. Himself in red, white, blue, and lies. Makes NDOs and louder basses boast. He stokes the fire, civil reason dies, and feeds the walls of mouthy loyal hoes. He plays the strong and black as foreign ghosts. The sirens feast and death, freedom for stealth. His throne is built on smoking shit posts. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Lady liberty, let truth come down. Expose the rapists who tried to drag you down. Let history brand and not with any renown. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. He scores people who bled for law and land, and praises the mob that stormed the sacred floor. A coward's grin, a scepter in his hand. He chooses chaos, shatters every door. His pledges rock the meaning nevermore. He trade the truth of treason, gain renown, and still he begs for power, blood, and war. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Oh, lady liberty, let truth come down. Expose the rapists who tried to drag you down. Let history brand him, not with any renown. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. He turns his back while tyrannies grow bold. He whispers secrets where the hawk should warn, and all for what? Some towers fake and gold. A name embalmed in scandal, loud and worn. No martyr here, just falling to be mourned. A fraud and silken jester in a gown. The gospel's house a shame we won't adorn. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Lady liberty, let truth come down. Expose the rapists who tried to drag you down. Let history brand and not with any renown. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Oh, Lady Liberty, we let you down. Oh, Lady Liberty, we let you down. It rose in the heartland, hard and gray. A tree of iron fed by fear and greed. Its roots split courthouses and cracked the day. branches smothered thought and deed. The ringing smile, people kneel. Truth was outlawed, mercy a plea. But one light burned, the world tried to conceal. So light your lamp and dead beneath the tree. Oh, light your lamp, let it shine bright. Oh, light your lamp, let it shine bright. Oh, God, let it shine bright. Lady was tired of silence and decay, of vanishing friends, of things unsaid. So she lit one lamp, the one to obey, and raised her flame where others fled. They called a traitor, they mocked her dead, but windows glowed across the sea, and fear began to bow its head. Now light your lamp and dig beneath the tree. Light your lamp, let it shine bright. Oh, light your lamp, let it shine bright. Dear God, let it shine bright. Then came the reckoning, quiet and slow. Not guns, but truth, not blood, but names. The lies were dragged to the light to show the rock that powered the region's gains. People stood tall, they broke their chains. Justice rose from memory. Ash fell soft where pride once reigned. So light your lamp and dig beneath the tree. Oh, light your lamp, let it shine bright. Oh, light your lamp, let it shine bright. Please, God, let it shine bright. Please, God, let it shine bright. When power whispers, it must be me. Remember, lady, remember we guard the roots of our liberty. Now light your lamp and dig beneath the tree.
Now it's time for the throw punch! Before we begin tonight's podcast, I have something that I want to read to you that I wrote that I intended to kind of turn into a rant video. Over the months, we've had some people, what I like to call affectionately, super woke lefties, who've gotten into our comment sections on our various social media platforms. They've called us names and said that we're not left enough for them because they perceive that we support the Democratic Party no matter what, and we don't ever hold them accountable, et cetera, et cetera. You know the comments, you've seen them. This live stream started over a year ago, and in that time, we've been interviewing a lot of political candidates, like our guest tonight. Candidates who are invariably running as progressives, that are sick and tired of the establishment Democrats that don't do anything more than write strongly worded letters. We've made it our mission at Sons of Liberty to drive as much awareness to these candidates as possible. We partnered with Citizens Impeachment and the Impeachment Coalition to try and get as many of their Courage Caucus candidates on our stream as possible, even recurring candidates like Brian McGinnis, who is not running as a Democrat because he's tired of their pearl-clutching stance on Palestine. I, myself, have expressed massive amounts of frustration with Joe Biden, for example, for running for office when he said he wouldn't seek more than one term, for being a coward, for not doing what must be done because he was concerned about his legacy and for being afraid to go, and I quote, against the norms, for not fully prosecuting a 34th-time convicted felon, for not using the full might of the government against a criminal and sexual predator, for not expanding the Supreme Court. The list goes on and on. There's no such thing anymore as norms. That was gone in 2016. It was reinforced in 2020, and it was buried in a coffin in 2024. If you think that you can vote your way out of fascism, you are sadly mistaken. Fascism doesn't give a fuck about your norms. And to be frank, expanding the Supreme Court is the norm. It's been done at least 9 times that I can count in American history. Speaking of norms, an outgoing president doesn't preemptively pardon friends, family, and cabinet members because he knows, logically, that the next guy coming in will try and prosecute all of them. He doesn't preemptively do that as a norm. That's not the norm. It shows that he knew what danger we were facing and that none of this is the norm. And he was too much of a coward to apply any of that logic to our entire nation. American political leadership is drowning in cowardice. The Republican Party, the Democratic Party, even the American people who take part in this process. And not one side's cowardice is the same as anybody else's. It's different degrees. American people have been sold a lie that they can just go out and vote. And now we're seeing evidence that some of these jackasses are going to try and suspend your elections. They're going to gerrymander you out of a vote. This is a country that threw millions of dollars worth of tea, by today's standards, into a harbor as a protest. And when that wasn't enough, they started stacking redcoat bodies. They started physically harassing British politicians and officials. You remember the term tarred and feathered? That was a very real, very physical thing that happened in this country. Lindsey Graham, a Republican, is so terrified of whatever compromise Trump has on him, which Trump probably got from Putin or Epstein, that he's literally become the worst bootlicker of them all. And that cowardice is different from the establishment Democrats' cowardice, where, for example, IPAC owns the establishment and people like Hakeem Jeffries isn't really a leader because getting reelected is more important. Tonight, our special guest is a retired United States Army non-commissioned officer, a big sarge, if you will, a veteran and a leader. Robert People is running for Congress in Florida's District 15, a state which just saw Governor Rhonda DeSantis gerrymander more Republican seats. We'll be asking the hard-hitting questions in just a minute, but before we begin, I want to say to all of you, voting is not enough anymore. You can, you will, you must get out there and talk to your politicians and your candidates. Visit their offices, call their offices, write snail mail letters, and then send emails in that order of priority. Not just your U.S. congressional representatives and senators, but in blue states, also your state level senators and reps, your governors, your lieutenant governors. Urge them to do the same thing that Rhonda Bad Santa is doing. Gerrymander your state into producing a blue majority so that we force Congress and the Supreme Court to figure out whether gerrymandering is good for everybody or not anybody at all. The time for playing by the we go high rule is done. That ship has sailed. So much of the mess that we're in right now could have been prevented if establishment Democrats recognize that you don't stop fascism with strongly worded letters, but with meaningful and consequential actions, the political equivalent of carpet bombing and nuclear options. We need to elect leaders in the year of our Lord Dale Earnhardt, 2026 and 2028, who understand that and are willing to set new norms in the face of our eroded norms, or our republic will be lost forever. That is a sobering note on which to start a Sons of Liberty live stream. And I apologize, Robert, that we began that way when normally I'm playing a kazoo and making dick jokes, but here we are.
True. Can't
So,
confirm. That is
No worries, gentlemen. So thanks for having me on.
thank you for being on. And I'm, again, random monologue.
Is the before we start, real quick, is the microphone? How is that? There was an echo before I took all that.
Oh, yeah.
Was that?
Yeah, it's good.
We're better now. Okay.
So, you're running for Congress. Please tell our audience everything that you want to tell them about you, because who knows better than you?
Okay, I'm Robert People, everybody. Thank you all for having me, and thank you all for listening. Those of you who are tuned in. I'm Robert People, running for Congress for District 15 in Florida. Here, of course, we just heard that, and I think a lot of folks have been following that the governor has redistricted, gerrymandered. Again for the second time, and I think a matter of maybe 4 years. If this happened again in last in 2022, and people were still not really even used to that one because they were still trying to get used to that shift. And of course, now that we've heard that Trump wanted Texas to do it, it happened way back there because a lot of people were thinking that we're only responding to Virginia. And when it was first brought up in Texas, the rumblings of it started here. So it was way back then. As for me, I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm a 21-year retired active duty Army veteran. I retired from Fort Cavazos, Texas, and moved here in 2019 after that. This is the second office that I'm running for. I ran for the school board in Texas, did not win that race, but I wanted to do what a command sergeant major told me when I was a young soldier, 21 years old, to be part of the solution and not the problem. And I've been complaining about Congress for the last probably 15 years or so. And after the presidential election, I said, you know what, this is time to remember what he said and not be part of the solution. If you can do better, then if you feel you can do a better job, then you step up and do the better job. So that's what I'm doing now. That's what I learned. And a lot of, I mean, you hit a lot of it on the head. I'm not looking to get along just to get along. I'm not looking to play by these unwritten rules that the establishment Democrats or the party want. I have no problem speaking to that, saying that a lot of folks really here, part of the party is not speaking to me really or not anxious to speak to me because of that. And that's fine, because the people we work for are the people, not the establishment Democrats, not the party, not those who seem to want to gatekeep and think that because they're the president of whatever, or vice president, or any part of these caucuses or clubs feel like they have the say in what candidates do or don't do. No, those aren't the people we work for. We work for the ones who vote for us, the ones we're asking for votes from and money from. So that's where that's where I'll start with that. I'm running absolutely as a progressive. I don't take APAC. I don't take corporate, no corporate donations. Let me see what else here. I went kind of out of order, so that's why I'm trying to remember, make sure I hit everything. But not looking to do that. I want to make sure this is entirely people focused campaign, and people powered. So I enjoy that more than anything else. Being able to get out there and talk to people and look at my list and be able to say, hey, all these donations came from everyday voters that I talk to all the time. So I'll start there. I'll start with that.
All right. I was stationed at Fort Meade, Maryland, so I am familiar with Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Doing some concerts in the Inner Harbor. I've been to places like over by the stadium in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have been. Been at Dundalk. I don't really count Glen Burnie as part of Baltimore, but I mean, at this point.
Yeah.
I was really familiar with the area. I lived up there for a long time. So how did you decide to go from, I mean, I guess you grew up in Baltimore and then you were stationed all over the place, but what took you to Florida ultimately?
Well, I will say that when we started visiting my wife at the time, when we started visiting Florida, first we came to Orlando to go to Disney World because neither one of us had been there before. So we did that. And my aunt lived in Orlando at that time too. So that was the first place we visited. And then at one point we decided, let's come to Miami. And this is when we were in North Carolina. We were stationed at Fort Bragg. And we went to Miami, enjoyed ourselves there. And then we came to Tampa because I'm a baseball fan. Baltimore Orioles is in the same division as the Tampa Bay Rays is. So I thought, okay, that's our excuse to go to visit Tampa. Plus, there was the military ball was down here at one time, so that might have been actually been the first time we visited. And I said for at that point that if we ever end up moving to Florida, when we didn't even plan to originally, but if we ever moved to Florida, Tampa will be the spot because this is where we enjoy it the most. And I had after retiring, I had one more move left that the Army was to pay for still. And when retiring, they'll pay for you to move basically anywhere because you're retiring. When you are ending an enlistment, they'll pay for you to go back to your home of record. But that's one of the perks to retiring. They get one more and you can move wherever you want. I thought, you know what? Tampa's it. So, and then my wife now lived in Ocala, which is about 90 minutes from here for 14 years. So when I met her in Texas and I asked her, what do you think about it? She's always wanted to come to Tampa too. So that works out well. So that's how we ended up here in Tampa.
Okay. Admin Jen is from Tampa, and
Okay.
I actually was trying to get her on the stream tonight, but she has come down with probably the same sickness that I had for like a couple of months, so she's not going to be able to make it.
Interesting.
I didn't give it to her, if that's what you're implying, sir.
Sir, I would never.
Anyway, yeah. So we actually got we got connected through Brian Nathan, who's actually been on our stream 3 times, almost a 4th, I think.
Yeah.
So
All right.
we have a lot of traction in Iowa and Florida, apparently.
Oh,
Lots of
Weird.
Yeah. So tell us about your district and like what areas does that encompass?
okay. Right now, as of before the change, we were parts of Hillsborough, Pasco, and Polk County. The reason I say that, I'm going to emphasize that too, because we still have, I know lawsuits were put in, which we all expected. Lawsuits were going to be filed because the Florida's Constitution say they're not even allowed to do this. So I want to see how that ends up playing out. Plus, the court still has to validate this change. So as of right now, I said my team and I we'll go maybe another week or 2 with the district as it originally looked, just to give it time and not to leave, the folks who have been supporting us so fast. I want to make sure we sort of transition a little bit more smoother. So right now we have parts of Hillsborough County, Polk County, and Pasco County, and large area, but more so together, unlike what it's been changed to. So from this, of course, this was probably the second closest R plus district. I think R plus 4 this was before. And I think the Miami area was the closest. So we're number 2. This was very much a winnable district and on everyone's radar as far as being the most flippable, or close to the most flippable. And what it changed to, of course, is that now, or if everything goes through, it becomes a smaller part of Hillsborough County. I think we pick up a larger portion of Pasco County. We lose Polk County altogether. And I have some great people, helping out with our campaign. I'll definitely make sure to keep in contact with them. But we have it's a larger portion of Pasco, and we will pick up Hernando or parts of Hernando and Citrus counties, which is more to the north. But if you look at the map, it's just a huge spot up north, which pulls in a lot of the rural area, of course, and dilutes the blue side to where now this is estimated to be an R plus 10 district. Definitely not out of reach, but of course, less than the R plus 4. So that's what we're looking at now. And eventually I will start reaching out. I mean, some of the new counties have already acknowledged that I'd be moving there, and I've spoken to them, or I've responded on their social media. I'm definitely looking forward to whichever way we end up going, because the whole idea is we need to fix what's going on. And if I'm in the district as it was or as it becomes, I'm going to work either way.
Now, since you're going to be in the House, it's a quicker cycle than the Senate. It's 2 years.
Mhm.
Not everybody can nobody can really get everything they want. So if you can list out for us and all the potential voters that may be seeing this, what are the 3 top priorities for you that you would put up there? Not necessarily in order, but the 3 things, if you can't work on anything else, these are the 3 you wanted to be able to deliver.
The first thing is impeachment, conviction, removal. And I hadn't thought about before meeting. You mentioned earlier, Big Sarge, you said citizens impeachment. I met them when I went to, this was, I believe, November, either November or December when they, no, might have been November, but when they had the remove the regime, I was going up there for that, and they found me as I was on the way, so they couldn't include me in everything because they found me as I was. I think when I stopped in the hotel, when I got there, that's when they discovered me on Blue Sky, and they said, well, it was too late to add me to anything, but they made sure I was brought in for everything else after the events that were up there. So they added the conviction and removal part because of course I was just thinking impeachment, and that's good because I want to do more than just we don't want they don't need to just ride off into the sunset after they're out of office. They need to pay for what they've done. This entire administration, we've seen the things that they've been the horrible things that they've done to the American people, and they need to be made an example out of, and not just be able to leave. And when people push back on the impeachment, well, we did it two other times before. Well, a hell of a lot more has happened since then. So this is not us trying to impeach for the same exact thing, because that's the only time that's the only time it makes sense to maybe not do it, because we're just doing it for the same. He's done so much more this time. So there's a lot more on the list that we have very much justification to go for it again. And again, the entire administration this time. So that's definitely one priority I would like to make sure we take care of. Now, the second is this big ugly bill. A lot of that, and we've talked about that less, but everything is still there. And some of what was in there is going to start taking effect this year, and of course going into next year as well. I want to make sure we don't forget about that, and we rescind or do what we need to get out of, make sure we don't have people suffering from the effects of that. So I definitely want to make sure we keep that in the forefront as well. And I really want to be aggressive going after Medicare for all. And we talk about all the time, where's the money going to come from, and we see the money that's being wasted. This is it's almost, I'm not going to say good, but it's almost beneficial that we're seeing all this money being wasted, because that just makes for a stronger case when it comes to talking about where's the money going to come from, especially since the Republican Donald Trump wants now $1 billion taxpayer dollars to
Billion.
pay for this ballroom.
Yeah.
And the Republicans, I believe I don't know if they put something forward, or if they're planning to, because I saw it as I was riding to a supervisor of elections earlier today. So that's what they're looking at, and I said that's where things like that are where the money's going to come from, and it will be less expensive than what we're paying in medical costs now. So I would say I would like to start there, and I know those may be the more longer term solutions. The more, as we say, y'all know, we say the what is it? What do we say? The 300-meter target, or the
Yep.
further that's going to take, the longer time to do. But that's something I feel like more people are asking for than a lot of everything else. And there's definitely more priorities in there. But I would say starting with those three.
I think those are solid priorities, and definitely ones that have come up a lot, both in polling and from questions that we get.
I wish I had known that you were a candidate and that you were present at the November rally, because I was there and I had the opportunity to speak before a crowd, and I dragged Drill Sergeant Doug up there with me, and he's not here tonight. I would have also brought you up there too. I'd have cut mine short and been like, you know what? I don't have anything relevant to say. Talk to this guy. He's running.
I thought you looked familiar. Yeah. I was like, yeah, okay. Well, I appreciate that though.
We did have a question from the chat while you were speaking. Rude Interplanet Janet would like to know, is pro-choice, would like to know your beliefs on bodily autonomy.
Oh, that's something that's on my website as well. I feel like I'm definitely pro-choice. I'd add that on there because there's so much as far as we shouldn't be having all these discussions that involve women but don't include them, and we're seeing so much of that now. And all these rules and all these not rules, but all these laws coming out that are punishing women for abortion and so forth, to me, unacceptable. And I'll always fight to make sure we get away from that and we get rid of that stuff. We should, as a matter of fact, I saw something on this was a couple months back where there was a discussion. It had to do with women's health. I saw it in a post, and this committee, whatever they were, this was in Congress somewhere, and it was nothing but men as part of this group. And my first question was, how are they discussing this and there's no women sitting at that table? And coming back, of course, there were some guys who came back and say, well, these guys are trained and they study this and all this and that. I said, you know what, that's all fine and well, but how do you all the training and all the studying makes no difference when you're talking about what a woman has to go through and what a woman deals with every day. So as far as body autonomy, we need to push aggressively back on that, and or on those trying to stop women having to leave and go to another state to get abortions and things like that and everything else. It's nasty seeing the direction it feels like this country, this administration wants to go in regarding women's bodily autonomy. So that's something I'm always going to support, a woman having the right to choose and it's a wild it's wild that has to be a radical sort of stance, but that a woman can choose what happens with her body, especially since we don't have regulations on, how our bodies are treated.
True. It's true. It is a weird juxtaposition from the ideas of freedom this country is founded on.
Yeah.
There's so many crass comments I could make.
It's true. You do excel.
I abuse that privilege on a day-to-day basis, but I'm not gonna.
I can confirm he does. So pivoting on to other issues of the day that likely to come up, especially for this immediate election. I want to know your thoughts on our current immigration system and where you think we can make changes to make it better.
We have not had immigration reform in about 40 years or so. So that's where we need to start. We definitely need to reform this system. We need to abolish ICE altogether because they've come in and steamrolled basically everything. We need to start over by getting rid of them, first of all. I know a budget was just, not a budget, I'm probably explaining it wrong, but they were approved to have basically to get more money. And they've been relatively quiet for the last couple months, but we saw all the damage they were doing last year and earlier, I won't say earlier this year too. So of course, I'm pretty sure they're not going away, but as far as on their own, they're not going away on their own, but we're going to, see to it and put forth, do whatever we need to do to stop them from what's happening. And it's there's a lot that we have to do as far as, we're not looking to have wide open borders, but at the same time, if we have rules in place that say, immigrants are supposed to do A, B, and C, we need to make sure that it's, that we're able to take care of them. They're not here for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And it's that easy to just change a status and now they can be harassed the way we've been seeing it. So we really have to dig down and really dig in and figure out how to, not figure out how to, but figure out what we need to change. I'm not as educated on exactly what every part of our immigration system looks like as far as the laws and so forth, which I'm definitely going to look more into that and I have my team doing that as well. But that we're putting some policies together on that. Because that's something we need to get on also. So it starts with, we've heard this before, it starts with us really. And again, we need to, if we have these laws in place, then we need to make sure that it doesn't set immigrants up for failure. And that's what that's what we're seeing a lot of. People are, I've talked to a couple immigration lawyers here and they're saying that's some of the issues that, they're doing everything right the way they're supposed to. And because we haven't had that reform, this administration was able to come in and just do what they're doing as far as ICE goes. And, we saw a lot of what took place. So that's something we definitely need to fix.
So, and before I get to the question that's popped up in chat here, I'm an engineer, an IT engineer by trade. So I think in terms of systems. So one of the issues that has consistently shown up as a policy deficiency for United States immigration is our throughput of processing of the amount of people that the system can have a hearing for, administer to, be able to house, et cetera, and move through and have a decision made one way or another, but whether or not a person can move into the U.S., seek asylum, whatever the case is. Would you be willing to support, because it comes at cost, an expansion of our current immigration court system and process in order to accommodate a larger volume of people to at least be heard and then determine whether or not they should be allowed into the U.S.
Yes, I believe so, because I think right now I feel like that's kind of with the limited knowledge I have on that, I feel like that's kind of where we sort of backed into that corner, because there's a lot of folks here and we have to really, get on there. A lot of their cases haven't been heard. So I think, yeah, to start with, we have to expand it, at least on our end, to sort of correct what we've lacked doing in the past, for at least the past 40 years. So yes, I would support that.
Fair enough. All right, we have Rude Interplanet Janet again. Our education department has been gutted. Ignorance abounds. What will Robert do to improve education, and what does he support to improve education?
Well, thank you for that question. For bringing back the Department of Education. I know there's going to be a lot of agencies will need to bring back that Doge just unceremoniously gutted and gotten rid of. I want to bring those back as well. And I asked I can't remember which congresswoman this was during an online forum, basically what the process is to bring back some of these agencies, some of these workers. And she said it's not as difficult as it might sound or as we might think, but the priority is to get those agencies back. Of course, VA is included in there as well, but to get back to the education portion of it, I know here it's terrible. It's probably bad in a lot of it's not probably it is bad in a lot of places, but in Florida it's especially terrible. And we are paying, or money is going from public schools to private schools, charter schools, and so forth. And of course, again, public schools are suffering the most, and they're the ones that really need the most money. And we have all the book bans here and so forth. So what I support is getting rid of the book bans. What I support is not giving money to charter schools and private schools, putting them back into public schools. And I also support improving education is about paying our teachers as well. I feel like paying our teachers better than what they've been, and that's what led me to want to run for the school board in Texas before I moved here. And teacher pay in Florida, of course, is dead last in the country, and it bothers me. And I was just thinking about this before coming on here, but this is Teacher Appreciation Week as well. So definitely, I'm going to put something up about that tomorrow. But we have, teachers are leaving, and there doesn't seem to be an urgency to either keep the good teachers or to even care by this administration. We're talking by the federal administration, by the state administration. Um, Other than the proverbial pat on the head, great job, and all that, nothing else is there. And teachers shouldn't have to get second and third jobs, and many are having to. And I believe that's a huge part. I mean, that's really the main part of improving education, is having teachers. If you don't have any teachers there to teach, then we really have nothing as far as our schools go. So getting the Department of Education, getting that back, and making sure our teachers are being taken care of way better than what they're getting now. Starting with a federal minimum teacher salary that's much better than what it is now, to where at least they don't need to have second jobs.
One of the things that goes with that is early childhood education,
Mhm.
pre-K education.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's been a lot of calls for that on a national level to try to push something that way. And of course, the story is always, we can't afford it.
Right.
But would that be something that you see as one of the positions that you can support, or is that too far too soon for you?
Oh no, a lot of this we can do now. We've seen how quickly they act on certain things when they want to, meaning the government. So they absolutely can do this now. There's very little I'm going to say, oh, we need to wait for this, or it's going to take a while. I know realistically, I'm not going to make, of course, obviously, all these promises that I'm not in a position to keep, because if I propose something, it will of course have to go through the process. So I always make sure I tell voters and supporters, I say, I can promise that I will support, I can promise that I will propose. And unfortunately, as we figure out how to get these bills to go through sooner, I'll make sure I do my part, at least to, propose and support. But early childhood education, yeah, absolutely. That's something we can get on now. We tax the rich. That's also that will ultimately fix a lot of the problems we have, and we're avoiding doing that. But ultimately, that will bring about a lot more tax dollars for not only education, but a lot of other areas as well. I know we're on education right now, but that's the way. We're talking about college also. We can add that in there as far as these student loans, things like that. We need to work on some of that also. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, absolutely, we can get on it now. We can get on it sooner than later, because we're already overdue for it, I feel.
And if we had a super majority,
I mean, that's not outside the possibility here with what we're tracking for these numbers.
Yeah.
As long as we don't get gerrymandered out of existence.
I mean, right now, the best case scenario is still looks like, and this is up this morning, so it may have moved because numbers move all over the place. Look like the best case scenario for the Dems would be 57 Senate seats, which sounds fantastic, but it's still going to be 3 shy of a filibuster-proof majority. And I think we're at plus 19, plus 20 for the House. Depends whose polls you read and where they think it's going to lay out. And obviously, there is a lot of time between then and now. So how that full thing swings, it's anybody's guess. But it does sound like if things hold, you and the incoming class, which hopefully you win your race and are a part of, would have an opportunity to push a number of bills through. At least some things will get through the Senate. Some things will be filibustered to hell and back. But it does look like you'll have a chance to make policy here. And obviously, as you said, you'll be one of several hundred voices on the Democratic caucus, so you don't get to do everything yourself. But still, it sounds like your views tend to align with what we're seeing in our comment section here and what we've been seeing on the our feedback as well. And that's good to hear, especially where we've had people who have very, very much disappointed us. I'm in Pennsylvania, so we've got Fetterman.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
We were very bamboozled. He is not showing his face around here, I tell you that. Not a popular guy.
I understand the Republicans are trying to get him to switch.
Trump offered him money to switch.
To officially switch.
Offered money. Wow.
Yes. He described it as a financial windfall.
Oh, nice.
He's just talking about the corruption directly into the camera at this point. He is just telling us about the illicit things he's doing.
This is the guy that had like a stroke or something, a heart attack, a stroke,
it was
something.
A stroke.
And all of the people on the opposite side of the aisle were making fun of him because, when you have a stroke, certain things happen to your body. It affects it.
And he had difficulty speaking.
Let me go hang out with all the dudes that made fun of me when I had a medical issue that I couldn't control.
Yeah.
Inexplicably, shortly thereafter, he makes a trip down to Mar-a-Lago, and all of a sudden, he is on board with every single Trump policy, every single vote, every single thing. He's opposed to the Dems, and he's on Fox News every other day telling everyone the Dems are literally Satan. And the only thing I can point to besides the stroke is his wife is a naturalized citizen, and I personally think some threats were made. I can't explain anything else for how someone goes such a complete 180 on all their positions. This guy was pro-labor. He was pro-women's rights. He's against all of it now. It's just mind-boggling, even in our current era of fantastical politics.
Something definitely happened, to be a 180 like that,
It's bizarre.
I feel like the smarter move politically would have been for him to just go public with everything. I mean, like, keep the receipts, make recordings, throw that shit out there in the public eye where it can't be ignored, where it can't be dismissed. And you could say, oh, it's a deep fake or, AI or whatever. But I mean, like, go public with it, make noise. Like, don't be a stooge and a simp. What?
I think even in that case, they would have to prove, if they're going to make the accusations of it being fake, they're going to have to prove it, and then that just causes them to dig in more. So I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, force their hand with that.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
It's not fake.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like when people say with Trump and these Epstein files. There's a reason he's not suing people because of saying that he's in there, because
he'd get nuked on Discovery. He'd just get destroyed. All the things they'd be able to find.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
At least the people around him are very strategic about what he's allowed to sue on. Because, and he got a bit of that on the suit he just lost with the Wall Street Journal, that he tried to go after them for publishing the Epstein birthday card that he had written with the poem and the sort of vivacious design of the card and how his signature was on there and everything. And he's always fake. It's never happened. It's like they have the physical card. They have the actual physical card with his dumbass signature on it.
Yeah.
And of course, he got laughed out of court. But I got to imagine that whatever the Wall Street Journal was going to get on Discovery on there would have been incredibly dangerous to him. Because you want to play games with that. That's where they're going to get all the dirt. Everything you managed to hide up to now. There's an amazing slew that gets pulled out when two parties go to court.
Yeah.
We had another question in chat. Sorry, Janet, just getting to that. How does Robert feel about turning points showing up on college campuses?
I'm against that. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to preface for the audience. For anyone who's not familiar, Turning Points is a conservative activist group that particularly targets younger conservatives and makes it a point to go into college campuses. I don't know how much they do some of the things they used to. They still go on to antagonize quote-unquote liberal groups and to film the reactions so they can edit them to make the liberals look weak or silly or violent. They used to also dox people who they felt were against American values, professors, student activists, etc. Put their information out there so they would get harassed and bullied on campus. And there were a couple of incidents back in the late aughts, early 2010s, where some violence happened to people that they had named, and they said, "Oh, we didn't tell anybody to go do anything to them, but you put a bullseye on them." So I think, and I haven't seen it in a while, so I think they may have pulled off a bit on that particular aspect of it. And that was even when Charlie Kirk was still doing their events, that they had shifted their focus a bit. But they still go on, they still look to antagonize wherever they can. So sorry, Robert, that was the preface I wanted to give before you gave the response.
Oh no, that's perfect, because I feel like they need to be just shut down altogether, especially when you're talking about when they're going to that extreme. This whole deal of they're going and it's freedom of speech is garbage. You just explained, we see exactly what's happening. You don't just stop. This is way past freedom of speech now. And when you're antagonizing, you're doxing and all this and that, even if they're not doing it now, they did. And we don't know if maybe behind the scenes, maybe we're just not hearing about it as much. They can be, they have the money to be more, clever with it, to be slick about how they, get around everyone, maybe being as public as it is. But we see the damage that is caused, and that was caused when Charlie Kirk was here with us still. And I'm not afraid to mention, to talk about him either, because and of course I'm not an advocate of murdering someone over their opinion. But at the same time, I'm not going to pretend he was a saint either on top of that. And no, I don't. No, I'm not. And that's, and of course that's what I received is, oh well, you're running for Congress. Make sure you don't say that. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, hooray, it happened, but I'm not going to kiss his ass either. I'm pardon my language on here, but it's
do you not know where you are?
Totally fucking fine, man.
It just seems I was like, wait a minute, I'm among. As a matter of fact, I'm among other. I'm with other veterans. So yeah, that's the last. That's the last thing I would need to do is apologize for bad language. But I'm among
Even
friends.
with
I
me,
feel
That's
like
what you want.
you with me here are token civilian. You're fine. You're fine.
okay.
Honestly, I deal with this guy all the time. So
So yeah, but it's yeah, it needs to
don't
be.
look at the camera.
Yeah, but we can't no, we can't that we can't just let them continue to do what they're doing is and hide under, not, we're not hiding of course, but let them hide behind freedom of speech, and then you're going to college campuses and doing this stuff. No, once the doxing, once the harassment, once the physical attacks and things like that started, it should have been shut down. So no, absolutely not going to college campuses and all. And then they're even starting they're starting, I know I spoke with someone at a dinner a couple months back where they asked me to participate at a protest where they're going to start a Turning Point chapter in their school, and I haven't heard back from them. But again, this was like I said, a couple months ago. But that's where we are too, and I'd be completely against that without hesitation. None of that does not need to continue. Understanding what that mission is.
Yeah, they are the feed point for the pipeline to
Yeah.
radicalize and recruit. So it's a dangerous mix. Big Sarge look like he has something to say.
Probably something that was foul mouthed. I don't know.
It's fair.
Trying to manage all of our various chat comments across like 6 different platforms. Make sure we don't have anybody being stupid up in there.
If only you had a staff.
That's fine for like YouTube comments, but and even to an extent Facebook. But I mean, like the other stuff, I wish.
Just saying, I feel like we have volunteers for this.
Yeah, if we could have people moderate Blue Sky, Threads, whatever, that'd be awesome. But I don't think there's a way to do that. Instagram. Well, Instagram, you get their benefits with that, guess, but.
All right, let's see what else we got here on our list today. So, as we've seen with the latest flare-up in Iran, because of course more of that happened today, and energy prices went through the roof. Most American households, I'm not sure why it says most, because I feel like this should be all American households. I guess Trump's probably doesn't care, are paying significantly more for energy cost as the price of oil goes up, which drives the overall energy market higher, which means that all of us are paying more for electricity per kilowatt hour. Where do you come in as far as what can the government actually do in regards to what's going on, besides the obvious of ending Iran? I'm sure you're there with us on that, and it's fairly self-explanatory there. But beyond that, how do we right this ship? Because right now, a lot of us are paying twice what we were last year. Some people are paying 3 times.
Yeah. Well, stopping the war, of course, you mentioned that. Yeah, we need to stop this, but to get this, the war is the problem right now. So once we stop this, then we'll start to see this going in the right direction. But also, there needs to be much better, let's say, oversight. Oversight, yes, but when it comes to, as far as being able, not allowing, because of course this happened as a result of this administration not going through Congress appropriately the way they're supposed to, and nothing was done about it. So as far as once this, and I learned as well, this is of course a global issue. Recently I learned this, but this is a global issue, and this is not something that obviously not something that just affects here. But the reason I bring that up is because once this is done with, and of course we'll can start fixing this. But all on top of that, especially here, the energy companies are getting. Yeah, we just did the matter of fact, there was just a protest of this. I know they do one periodically, but there was just one. This was on was it Saturday? I think Saturday afternoon, either Saturday or Friday afternoon. But they're just they're just stealing from people, from the customers and so forth. I know they have another, and I didn't realize it was this, blatant, but they have, the governor here appoints um the board members, and they vote periodically to increase, the costs of the bills and so on. And there doesn't have to be any type of justification for it. It doesn't have to be, they don't have to, prove what it's going to or anything like that. It's basically just, we want to raise prices. We want to raise costs. Let's do it. Let's vote on it. Okay. And that's it. Again, appointed by the governor. And that's something we definitely need to, the city's trying to fight back on that, city and county, but on top of what's coming as a result, or what's happening as a result of the war, that's happening on the local levels too. So I want to make sure we continue to keep attention on that. But this doesn't happen if this administration doesn't just decide on their own to go to, participate in this war no one wants, nor can they even explain. So so that's, and the idea of it, it's tough because we don't have the majority in there. Yeah, it is, but something more needs to be done. And of course, if we're able to flip and get our majority in, a lot more will be.
Yeah. So the Trump administration is spending somewhere around $1.5 billion in all to cancel 3 large clean energy projects across both in the Northeast and on the West Coast. Restarting of these projects would also be a substantial investment of money. Do you feel that is worth the taxpayer dollars to try to revive these projects, or is this effectively a lost investment at this point?
Oh my goodness. No, that's a tough one because
That's why we're asking you.
Because and I want to be respectful of what's gone into this to begin with, as far as taxpayer dollars and so forth. We're always raising taxes. The people are always the ones who have to suffer, because it's like we see with the ballroom. They're going to have to, if this goes through, they're going to have to be we will have to be the ones who pay for that. So I would say, goodness, people are already suffering to begin with. I would have to say at this point, just with the limited information I have, lost investment. We don't need to keep continuing to tax people on top of everything else. They have this going on, and there's going to be everything else. But the people are already, they were suffering before. They're suffering much more now, and the government. We have to do much better absorbing some of these costs and really showing. And I know right now at this point, we don't even have I'm saying the government doesn't have to say we care about the American people anymore, because they're in the position where they can just do whatever they want, and they feel the people aren't going to push back enough. That's why I'm glad it was mentioned earlier that in some cases voting won't be enough. I agree with that. And some may say you're running for office, you shouldn't say that. Well, I'm going to say it because it's going to take a lot more than this to really stop things, because you see they're basically spitting on everything that we're coming back with, or trying to coming after with. But anyway, not to get outside of the topic we were just talking about, but yeah, it's
that's good. That's a good answer, because it's a Kobayashi Maru. That's kind of a no-win scenario, is that we need the green projects, but it's such a massive cost now to replace all the damage that he's done. And to dovetail off that, before we pivot off to some of these other subjects here, the infrastructure in the Gulf that has been destroyed is currently estimated at between 6 and 8 months, even to get something online again to start producing, and we're probably years from reaching full peak production again to where they were before Trump's adventure into Iran began. As a result, we're talking about potential higher prices, perhaps not quite as spiked as they are because futures are driving things higher right now, but market scarcity will still be in effect because there's less oil being produced onto the market. That'll still be affecting us. what measures would you support in order to alleviate that? And for example, right now the Trump administration has argued that the opening of protected natural lands to additional drilling as well as offshore drilling is the solution to it. The drawback there is that the development time for an oil field out in, say, Alaska or out in the protected Badlands in North Dakota is months to years before we'd ever see any benefit from that.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you see driving our energy policy, given that these factors, there's kind of like no real good solution on this. I mean, you might have a brilliant solution. I'm not going to judge, but it's another tough situation that you've unfortunately are going to be inheriting with the next Congress.
I know. What we'll need to do, and I'm sorry, did I interrupt just now? Oh, I thought the pause. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is not a lot of these solutions are going to be multi-tiered. We have to, really. I would like to really sit down and go with add this to our list of what I'm going to discuss with the team as far as policy goes and how we would we could support this. I hate to give this answer to the voters because they're sick and tired, but I think they understand this too, that we didn't get here overnight, so it's going to be longer than overnight before we get out of this. And some of it's going to be unfortunately painful. I don't want to say, everything once we're all in office, everything will go back to just being great again, because it's not, it really isn't, because we have to clean up this mess, really.
And
this is part of it. Mm-hmm.
That may be a good a leading point too, is to have that expectation that you can't magically fix overnight. Nobody can.
Yeah.
Whoever you vote for, there's no fixing this mess. It is a massively complicated system of politics, money, energy, supply, resource, transportation that stretches the whole fucking globe.
Yeah.
We're not fixing this overnight. I think you're completely justified in not having, definitive magic sword of split the baby and Solomon solves the problem kind of thing. It's these are going to be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, and I want to add to that. It's not something, of course, that's impossible, but just understand there'll be some growing pains with this, as far as being able to we've all been in that situation where we've had to fix something, and it was a lot to get it fixed, but we finally got out of that. And I go to also when people talk about the repeating, history repeating itself when it comes to the bad things. For the bad things that we're seeing, well, history can repeat itself with the good, with coming out of that as well. So this is not something we can't get out of, we can't recover from, but we see all the damage that's been caused between this administration, previous administrations, and so forth, that we still haven't completely recovered from. It's going to take us a bit to get there, but we do want to make sure we go aggressively at go after a lot of these areas.
Absolutely. Oh, and to answer the chat there, Vivid Griffin, you just asked the questions in the chat. We're always monitoring them. We don't catch 100% of them, but we'll get most of them. So if you got questions for the candidate, go ahead and ask away, and we'll try to work it into the program as best we can. And if not, we will move on to areas of platform so that we can cover everything on the agenda here. So I am not familiar with District 15 and exactly how urban versus rural it is. Can you take us through that a little bit, just how built up of an area District 15 is?
I will say, okay, yeah, I can do that. And this can apply to both the old, and if this goes through, what that looks like. Hillsborough County, I would say, is the further south and west toward Hillsborough County, that's more urban is in those areas here. And of course, the further north you go into rural. And that was the plan, to pull more rural into it and dilute the urban out of it. But the way it was before, and I just want to do both real quick, just in case this ends up not going through. So starting with the original. So the original District 15, again, it was the same thing. We had a good portion of Hillsborough County. That's where a lot of the a bigger mix. So we're talking about Tampa. Brandon was part of that as well. There were some areas, some parts of other areas that had their urban communities and so forth, but far less as far as, largely outnumbered the rural portions, especially the further east you went to. So Lakeland is more like physically more toward the center of the state, and that's very heavily rural. So that's what it was looking like there. Now, because of it changing to be further up north and more toward the coastline, there's less urban and it goes more. So now, so I would say, yeah, the further south within the district, Hillsborough County. As a matter of fact, if you looked on the map, the district looked like this. Uh, the southern part was just wider. Now it looks like basically kind of like this. And we have just a small portion of Hillsborough County, a little bit more to the north, but then it goes into Pasco. And again, rural, the further up north you go, and they want to pull more of that in there. So now I don't have specific percentages as what it looks like. But if I had to estimate, I would say probably more, because it's a much bigger district, probably 20/80. And that's just, again, a rough estimate, 20-80% urban to rural.
We did have a question pop up here from the naturalist engineer. Where do we need help canvassing within the district?
Right now, we're going to. I'm going to give it, and thank you for asking that. I think we're going to, let's say, give it another week or so, just to see how these, to see if we can get any type of at least estimated time or an idea of whether the Supreme Court will validate this or how the lawsuits will turn out. I don't want to give too much time, of course, because we are, our primary is in August, and I want to make sure if this doesn't get looked at, validated, what have you, I want to go ahead and start giving attention to the new to the folks in the new counties as well. So I would say, to start with, I'd like to get back to you all on that. I know to start with, and my information is in there. So naturalist engineer, please. Please get back with me on that, because again, with things changing, it's hard to say right now where we'll go first, because there's some analysis we need to do as far as where where the areas that have been neglected are, and that's what we want to look at, the areas that have been neglected the most, to make sure we cover all our bases.
That's fair, especially you've basically got a moving target here. You got to hit, and
yeah.
Not sure exactly where it's going to land yet. That's a good question, naturalist engineer. We'll have his website up here again in a moment, and that should be something for you to look at for information. I'm sure, Robert, you'll have that information up there.
Yeah, I'll make sure I put that in there as well,
Right.
because I know others have wanted to, volunteers and want to know where they can jump into. So I definitely appreciate that.
Naturalist is in your district,
Okay.
according to the chat from earlier.
Yeah.
So
his family
Well,
around
it's good to see. It's good to see people are potential constituents in here as well. So thanks for being in here.
It does happen. It does happen, especially it's Florida and Iowa. It's just all of our viewers, Florida and Iowa, man.
Okay.
Hey, whatever. Hey, if we connect you to someone and get them to support you and vote, then hey, we've at least done something tonight.
That's one I didn't have before. So yeah, that definitely appreciate
go.
that. So everyone helps. Absolutely.
Hopefully it's a lot of sums, but
Yeah, I'll take it.
any positive number is a good number.
Yeah.
Where did I leave off here?
All your socials are on your website, which I had up there. They keep taking it down. People for Congress.
Yes, they're all on there. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I think they're at the top of the screen. I have them at the top and the bottom on each page.
Now, you said the primary is in August.
Yes,
They don't.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Presuming that they don't try to wipe that out too, because who knows with these guys.
Just did in
Yeah.
Louisiana.
August
Are
18th.
you the only candidate, or do you have challengers for?
Right now, there's two of us for the primary at this moment.
Okay.
We'll definitely be watching. I'd like to pivot back to energy then, if you don't mind.
Okay.
There was a report out. I'm sorry, it wasn't this morning. It was Monday. That said that China is increasing their capacity not only for clean energy. I swear I'm a professional. As well as their production of electric cars. They now have both better capacity in the batteries for their cars and their charge times, which are comparable to filling up a conventional gasoline car at a gas tank, where it takes about 5 to 10 minutes. So with the increasing capabilities of China's vehicles, there is a increasing danger to the U.S. market, in that China wants to be able to sell these in the U.S. and they're better than what we're producing right now. We have kind of suffered from the government deciding that electric vehicles are bad and trying to pivot away from them. What would you see as ways that we could compete with China in this space? And or do you think that even the U.S. government should be taking a step into an industrial market like this in order to influence the outcome for American consumers?
I feel like taking a step in that direction. I think that would be more beneficial for us to improve, of course, how we're looking with that. I had not considered that entirely, so that's something I'd like to look more into as well. But if it's something we need to improve on, let's definitely look at that. As far as if we're talking about competing, is getting back to how, and I wish I had the numbers for all this, as far as as far as our electric vehicles and so forth, whether and how it's fared over the years, especially recently. Because if it's hurting us to come away from that, then let's go back toward it. But it's something I'd definitely like to look into more.
Yeah, Ford. They quoted an anonymous executive from Ford saying that they were basically terrified that China was going to be able to flood the U.S. market with, and even if not just the U.S., various overseas markets where Ford competes with EV vehicles that are just superior to anything the U.S. was making. And obviously lost market share means loss of U.S. jobs, hurts the U.S. economy.
Yeah.
And that's, it all trickles down. But at the same time, there's definitely been a voice that says government should not be taking a position to influence the markets by helping one company versus another. And then there's definitely the protectionist says it's okay to help a company as long as it's an American company. So there's a lot of different voices in this competing for what is the best balance with how you help and what's too much and what's enough. For example, the Trump administration cut the electric vehicle tax credit, which incentivized American citizens to buy EV vehicles. You got to write that off on your taxes for a certain amount. I forget exactly what the number was offhand, but that was one of the first things they killed with one of his early executive orders to get rid of, which is, it didn't really change how much. It changes how much money we take from tax. It doesn't change a huge amount of tax money that comes in by volume, but it does drive interest towards the industry. And I don't mean to get us all down in the weeds and all this. It was an area that, though, I'm interested to see how you would want to enter. But if that's one you want to pivot on to look at another thing, look at your information and get more up to date on. That's really cool too, because as people in the audience should know, we don't we don't go over these questions in advance with any candidates. We just go through whatever's come up on the news, and sometimes that'll play to stuff that's familiar. Sometimes it's going to be something they're unfamiliar with.
Sometimes we just make them up as we go along.
Sometimes we make them up as we go along. Well, that's a good question from Edward Mark Godshall. What's the major industry for your district in District 15?
That one, I'll honestly say I'm not sure. I'm not certain of as far as what that is between now and even going into the new one. So that's something I will.
That could also change
well.
depending on which areas fall into his new district.
Yeah, and then we're talking more about. Let me see. It honestly, it looks. I think it wasn't much different than before. Well, I mean, it is different, obviously, but it is much different. But it's almost like there's just more rural area now going to the north rather than to the east. So, but I'll get an answer. I'll get an answer for you on that one. I'm sorry, I don't have that one right now.
Oh, that's fair. And again, it's moving target, stuff shifting.
Yeah, I definitely try to get this so that people can have answers when they're looking to have something here. Major industry. Okay.
That's actually a really good question. I don't think we've ever had anybody ask that particular question of anyone that we've had on the live stream. That's definitely
that is
that might be right. I mean, we've had questions about
that is a good one though.
Industries that are there. I don't think anybody's asked what the major industries are. Like I can remember a whole bunch of farm, agricultural questions for some of our candidates in Nebraska. But not just hey, what's the biggest industry there?
You remember how in the military, especially like at inspections, when they'd ask you a question and your automatic response was, if you didn't know the answer, was to just say, sir or sergeant, sergeant major, whatever, I don't know the answer to that, but I'll get back to you with that. And then you had to go find the answer, find that person and report in. I hated that.
I had a couple. One of them. One told me don't even bother saying that because they know you won't get back with them. So just tell them you don't know. And we had, and I think for that one he said because someone got into the promotion board and that was his answer for everything. Everything was, I don't know, and I'll get back to you. I don't have an answer, but I'll get back to you. And then they just shut the whole thing down. So you know what? Did you even study? So he was like, okay, you know what? Let's try something else here. So that was extreme, but yeah, I remember exactly what you mean.
You can show up to a promotion board and be like, I don't know the answer to that. What? That's like all of your upline leaders should be demoted.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. If that's everything. Yeah.
Or kicked out of their billets, whatever. It's just like, oh, that's such a fail. Oh. I feel like that had to be intentional, though. That sounds like self-sabotage. Like, I don't want to go, but they're making me go.
I thought so. Yeah. That's what I thought too when they told us. I was like, no, there's no way he really went in there and did this. Yeah. Then there's someone who went and did this. There was another person who went and did the NCO creed in his own words. That's exactly how he stood up and said it. Yeah. When asked about the this was when I took over as platoon sergeant too. So of course that's what I inherited. And and someone else was supposed to take him, but they couldn't. So I was in there and I sat there with him. And he stood up and he said, here's the NCO creed in my own words. And I said, oh boy, what the hell? And I turned and they turned and looked at me and they're just looking at me like this as he's saying it. Their eyes are on me and I'm sitting there about as dumbfounded as hell because I took over. I found out that day that I needed to sit in and do this. So I knew very little about him. I only took over as platoon sergeant maybe 2 weeks before that. So they had a good old time just kicking me all over the damn up and down the hallway after he's out there.
I had to take a soldier to the E5 promotion board, and I was in 3rd Infantry Division. So that's, for those that don't know, that is the Dogface Soldier Division, and they got their nickname from like World War I. the Battle of the Marne. It's also the Marne Division.
Yep.
And every morning for PT formation, all over post, they have these giant speakers. It's like an air raid siren, but it plays,
Oh, yeah.
you can use it for whatever. They would play the Dog-Faced Soldier, which was the division song, which used to be the caissons go rolling along, and then they just changed it, or not the caissons go rolling. It used to be, it had a different name, and then they changed it to the Dog-Faced Soldier. And you had to sing that song, the whole song, every morning, Monday to Friday, at like 6:30 a.m. So when you go to the promotion board, you walk in, you do your report, you throw your salute up, you report in as ordered, whatever. The first thing you do is sing the Dog-Faced Soldier song. And they're like, I don't care if you can sing well, I don't care if you can sing poorly, I don't care how you sing, just do not sing quietly. Make sure that they can hear you, so sound off. This dummy goes in there and is practically screaming, not even attempting to like pretend to try to be hitting the correct notes, just literally like spoken word shouting. I felt like I was at a hardcore concert or something, because it was just like, just this off caterwauling, terrifying, and I'm sitting behind them, and I'm just like my face is turning red as I'm like biting my tongue, sucking my cheeks in between my teeth. I'm like,
Yeah.
That face caught the battalion sergeant major. She saw it, and she's I don't know what was going on, but I will never forget that.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. I still remember the words of that song. I can't get that song, like, no matter how much I try.
I know we had that in Korea. The second, I think the 2ID song we had to do that with.
Oh, this wasn't just a third ID phenomenon? Oh, thank God.
Oh, yeah. We no, thankfully I didn't have to take anybody.
Got it from them.
Oh, okay. I didn't have to take anybody to the board when I was there, but yeah, that'll be yeah. So just screaming this thing.
Oh,
I
wish I could have
like
that on video that way.
Yeah, there's more when the people are so, you have any war stories? And no war stories, but stories like that where it's somebody does something, it's like, what? You serious?
Oh,
yeah. I have more of that than
yeah,
anything
it's
else.
like, that's the thing, is people will ask us like, oh yeah, let's swap war stories. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the funny stuff.
The funny, yeah. Oh yeah, the funny.
Like the time the 3rd Infantry Division commanding general caught me using his personal porta potty.
I remember this.
Oh my goodness. That would have been
It was so immaculate. I should have known. I didn't. I had to go. I had like maybe 15 seconds from the time that Humvee like approached when I saw it, and I was like, I gotta go. I touch and go right now. Stop the Humvee. Didn't even come to a stop. I just kind of like rolled out the door and ran to this porta potty. Got inside. And I was like, oh man, it's clean in here. I don't have to do anything. Like, and I don't have to arrange paper, nothing. Nope. And there's a reason for that. And that reason is called Major General. I don't even remember their name. I just remember the disappointed look on their face.
And it didn't end there, right?
Actually, I feel like nothing ever happened after that. I know I was terrified, and as soon as I got to Division Main to go report in for whatever meeting I had been summoned to, I told everybody. Like I was like, I don't know if you need to know this or not, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because in case something happens, if the general comes into the talk and has something to say, here's what happened.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've been there before. Yeah, having to. I mean, let me just snitch on myself before, because if they have to find out from the that's yeah.
your your campaign opposition is gonna be like, guess what we heard?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's either that or you're sitting around you just sweating every time you get called for anything. Like, okay, is this the time that they found out? Yeah. Ooh, that's just that's very. Ooh.
That's why I don't run for office.
It's true.
Like, I know our president is Donald Trump and he has tons of nasty shit in his closet, but I'm not gonna put my wife through that because
Yeah.
she likes hearing all my stories. The ones that don't cast me in like the best of lights, or just the sordid single NCO in the barracks things, and I feel like there's just stuff that she doesn't ever need to know ever. And I'm not gonna. And I don't want them going after her either, because she's a Navy sailor. So who knows what. They'd be like, honey, why didn't you tell me about this? Well, I didn't think you were going to run for office.
Oh. Yeah, that's what we can look forward to.
What was the moment for you? Like, I know you mentioned earlier that you had, an old sergeant major, as everybody does, who basically told you, be part of the, for lack of a better term, because I can't remember, be the change you want to see in the world. If you think you can do better, then go ahead and do it. But what was the specific moment, like, where you realized I'm gonna have to run for office?
Oh, I've wanted to do this for a while. Just I didn't think about it too much, I guess, while I was in, because I know I was moving all over the place, so I knew that wasn't possible. But I would say the specific moment, or maybe if you're talking about specifically, I know when the seed was planted and all that, but I'd say, I guess here, um, the moment at this time, minus everything that led up to it, I would say right after what I'm sitting on the couch at about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, while I was watching the states continue to flip. I know before we went to bed, because we were sure it wasn't going to go this way. So before we went to bed, because we got tired, of course, but um, the red, all Trump had all the states that he had before, so there hadn't been any flipping by that time. So I said, okay, well, we can maybe lay down for a bit. I know we weren't going to lay down for too long, because first time one of us woke up, we would come and look and see what the results of the election were. And at that point, that's when I saw that battleground states went his way, and the states we were leading in, the lead went to him, as all to Trump also. So I would say, I let it go for a bit, because I know I'm close to a District 14. There's a Democrat there, Kathy Castor, her name is, and I said I know I didn't want to run against another Democrat. But also, I thought I was in her district. I found out I wasn't. So, because she doesn't have all of Tampa, and now that's moved over, switched up. But um, when I decided to look, I said, well, let me see who I'd be going against, and then that's what contributed to it as well. But when I sat there, I said, I need to do something now. This is the time to do it, especially looking at how devastating it was that they managed to win again. And I don't think anybody really expected. They expected it less probably now than in 2016, because now we know way more about him. So how in the hell does he get in this time? So when that happened, it's like, okay, no, I can't keep talking anymore. So this was it. So I would say that's probably the moment that I decided to, okay, let me put up or shut up with this.
Okay.
Very relatable energy, honestly. It's just like tired of this shit, man.
Yeah.
Something's gonna be done.
So this was an aspiration for you, and you just kind of had things popping up, and you kind of put it off here and there, and then that was the catalyst. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. It started. I would say, just real quick, it started when I would go back to visit Baltimore. Now we had, and I grew up. We didn't have a car or anything, so we went places on the bus, obviously. But when we went to visit, Now we had a car, so I could go around. I was able to show my wife, everything, where I grew up, schools and all that. And I would start seeing the some of the areas we grew up in that hadn't changed much. And I'm talking about as far as just being run down. Some of the places we lived were torn down, but they were still in the pile of rubble, and they were there for years. No one, a lot of areas are, abandoned, especially in, the inner city of Baltimore. And I'm talking about that looked the same as it did when we were kids. And we're talking now 20, 25 years later. There were some the corner stores. Some of the corner stores, some of the buildings were boarded up, and nothing. They had not been touched for all that time. It looked the same, exactly the same as when we were kids. So I would start saying to my wife at the time, I would say, you know what, I would complain about it, looking at it. I would say, this is sad because I figured it would look, kind of better than this. And I would start saying, you know what, and just throwing it out there, just bullshit. I said, let me throw it out here and say, you know what, if I was mayor, this is what I would do. And I started doing that, not really super serious because, of course, I'm just there for a couple of days. And the more each time I came back, I saw something different that I didn't notice the first time. Something looked worse. Something didn't, change. I would say the same thing. She would have to hear the same thing over and over again. I hadn't mentioned it much, so I think she kind of halfway was listening to me at the time. So, but the more I did that, and this is the part, of course, that led up to me wanting to do this now. The more I did that, the more I really wondered, how bad does it look everywhere else? How, with visiting all these other, living in all these other cities, you know, if I go into the inner cities, even if it's not just inner city, but, other issues, what other issues? And the more I went around and observed, the more I studied, the more I researched, I saw that there was so much that we really falls into the category of either being abandoned, something that needs to change. And that's okay. You know what? Who's responsible for making this, these kind of changes and so forth to fix this? And, one thing led to another. And of course, I got more interested in it. So then I started following politics a little bit more. And that's when I started to see, okay, well, Congress has having worked in the Army on the federal side, that's why I became interested in Congress and what they do. And that's when I really kind of zeroed in on, their part in all of this. And that's why I wanted to run for this specific seat here.
We have a question from Rude Interplanet Janet, because of course we do. How does Robert feel about the Second Amendment and gun ownership and gun regulation? What would he do to help control the issue of mass shootings in schools and the public? It's always a tough one in Florida.
Yeah, it is. And I know that's, the answer we're supposed to give is that this is a state issue. But when but running for the federal, on the federal side, I'm still I want to get involved in that still anyway, because it'll affect not only the state, but of course the rest of the country. So my answer to that, I'm not against the Second Amendment. Of course, we understand what it was intended for, what it was, there needs to be some reform to that. Especially from when it came out originally, but we need common sense gun legislation. I don't recall anybody ever saying that we want to take guns from everybody. But we definitely need more regulation than what we're having now. Protection from kids in schools, and the public in general. We have the evidence from other countries that when there's better gun regulation, better gun control, we don't see the mass shootings like we're seeing. And right now, it's like it's wide open. Everybody can. It feels like everybody can get guns. And right now, too, here recently, this happened where the age to be able to purchase a gun was lowered here. And I can't recall what it got lowered to, but now you're basically able to get that before you can drink. I think you can get it. I think 18 was it, or lower to 16. I got to remember which one that was.
I believe you're correct.
But yeah, so there's a lot that we have to reform with that. So to stop the mass shootings, that's going to take some effort, I think. I don't want to make that a simple, like an easy, all we got to do is this. But I know it's going to take really looking, and again, this gun legislation. common sense gun legislation, background checks, of course, red flag laws, all that. When we look at the signs, whenever when we see these mass shootings happen, and it feels like there's always some more somewhat blatant signs that were there that were overlooked, that were missed, or just totally just straight up ignored. And I think that's what we have to pay more attention to as well. We can't just write it off, especially being Florida, and just say, well, this is open carry, stand your ground state and all that, and say, well, that's not a problem. It is a problem. And we still, things can still happen. Everyone just doesn't become responsible gun owners because of this being an open carry, stand your ground state. We see that. And well, first of all, we got to go back on that. But right now, that's what I would say as far as what I feel would happen. It will take a while to get to that point, but that's something I would like to look into moving toward.
And like a lot of the questions we've had tonight, it's certainly not an easy issue or just a magic bullet solution one. That's government, right?
Yeah,
ain't nothing easy.
And I would love to get better answers than that. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No. You're giving good answers. You're giving an answer. That's something we don't always get. You're not giving us a buzzword or a bumper slogan. You're giving us an honest, as an American, this is how I feel. This is how I approach it kind of things. Hey, I love that.
Yeah, people are tired. They know the bullshit when they hear it. I think at this point they're so tired that it's the radar is more. They're catching that more. So it's like, let's just be straight up. If we don't have it, let's just say we don't have it, and let's try to work toward. With all these, that's why I appreciate this call too, because I'm learning from you guys as well. So that's what we got to do. We got to start listening more than we've been doing.
Hey, anything we can do to help, man.
Mm-hmm.
More folks like yourself in the Congress start to right this damn ship.
Yeah.
So you have your primary in August. And prior to that, you're hoping for a decision on whether or not the new gerrymandered map is going to be legal.
Mm-hmm.
Between now and the primary, do you still need volunteers?
Oh yeah, we can definitely use volunteers as far as basically everything with with the canvassing. We have the getting postcards out. Running helping with the websites. We just got someone actually who's going to help with the website and everything. But just I think probably where we can definitely use the help is throughout the district. I would like to, plan I have is to maybe have teams in each county so that they can be the ones, when events come up, they can be the ones responsible to let me know, and have enough volunteers, ideally have enough volunteers to where we can just go to those teams and say, okay, we're going to be in Citrus County this weekend. The Citrus County team, who's available to, show up here so that it's not, because now the district is much bigger, and we've had volunteers who have been in there since the beginning, and they're trying to get to all these events. So I would say that's probably a big help. But right now, we can continue using definitely more volunteers.
And this has come up in other live streams with other candidates as well. You can accept volunteers who are not in your district, right? For whether it's sending out postcards, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't just have to be people who are exclusively in your district. So for those of you out there who watch the stream, either watching now or end up watching it later, volunteers from anywhere. So if Robert's message resonates with you, mm-hmm. and you find yourself with some free time and or the notion to help out, they can definitely use you.
No, thank you. Yeah,
that's going to be, I think that's a convenient point to wrap it up. I've got to hop on a call with I think it started at 8, so I'm probably going to be late. I mean, I am late, but hopefully I don't miss.
late.
Definitely too late. Yeah, I just saw the message pop up. They're like, "Yeah, we're having our call at 8." And I'm like, live stream. Like, I've been doing this for a year now. Speaking of live stream, this week we have another live stream. We have a special live stream with the Oregon candidate for governor, Brittany Jones.
Oh, very nice.
Who is also a veteran. I love candidates who are also veterans. Like, it's not a requirement, but like, I love seeing veterans running for office.
Mm.
And then I guess we're booked all the way through like mid-June on all of our other.
So we're into
Tuesdays.
July now.
Nope.
So there's still some July opportunities. So I think that first week of July, I think it's going to be a little busy.
Yeah. Oh, we could probably plan a live stream from DC, I guess.
We could do a live stream from DC for 7 days in DC, the event we've been promoting.
Yeah. All the way over there in the corner.
All the way up in the corner.
All right. Robert, thank you so much for giving us an hour and a half of your time. Sorry for the curveball questions that caught you off guard.
Oh, no, that's perfect. No, those are perfect. I gotta be ready for those. And I tell people here, I say Laurel Lee, the representative who's in the seat now, she's not going to be nice once I get past the primary. So I'll take the curveball questions, the tough aside. I know what to go for. So thank you. I appreciate those.
So we need to find dirt.
I
didn't say that out loud. We have to.
You were thinking it pretty loudly, though. Unleash the hound.
You know. Well, I did lead off with we need to stop playing fair and nice or whatever. So I guess that's going to be our stream for tonight. Robert People, U.S. Army veteran, retired professional NCO candidate for Florida District 15. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. 2 claps and a Rick.
Woo!
And